Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
I almost introduced our guest as being a Tuesday guest, but of course it's Wednesday. We had Monday off. That'll be enough of that. Wednesday, all of our guests, including Jeff Paterson, standing by, brought to you by the Alberni Power and Marine RPM Group. Located in Port Alberni, Alberni Power and Marine is one of Vancouver Island's most trusted boat dealerships, the largest Mercury Marine dealership in Canada. Their service team, Rick, just won for the fourth consecutive year a CSI score above the national average. That's Customer Satisfaction Index. Make your appointment today for the 2022 boating season at albernipowermarine.com. And with that, Canucks and Habs tonight, Rogers Arena. We bring in from Sekeres and Price and the Rink-Wide podcast, Jeff Paterson. Jeff, thanks so much for doing this. How are you, sir?
Donnie, Dolly, I'm doing well, and if you look over my shoulder closely, you can see Alex Burrows in the Ring of Honor here at Rogers Arena. Of course, he'll be down on the bench when the puck drops tonight, but I just thought I would do my best to bring a little flavor of the day to you here.
Was there ever any talk about when Martin St. Louis took over as Habs coach, and he's done a great job so far, was there ever any talk about Alex Burrows getting that job? Because you think of St. Louis' experience, Alex Burrows at the NHL level has more. Coaching-wise.
You know what? I didn't ever hear any chatter about Alex getting a promotion. I wondered about Luke Richardson. There's a guy that has worked benches at the National Hockey League level, the American Hockey League level, has some head coaching experience as well. And I thought if anybody on the coaching staff might be in for a bump, it might be Luke Richardson. I still think Alex Burrows is learning the ropes, not that far removed from his playing days. And look, this much we know about Alex Burrows. If he wants to be a head coach of the National Hockey League, I'm not going to bet against him because this is a guy that has never taken no for an answer and has paved his own path. We all know the story as a player, and so it won't surprise me if he climbs the ranks and one day is a head coach at the National Hockey League level.
New Jersey wasn't so great, that visit, but what did you like about the Canucks 3-1 road trip?
A lot. The fact that they got 6 of 8 points ultimately at a time when they need every point available to them. But beyond that, I like the fact that they weren't perfect and they still found ways to win. And when I say not perfect, ask Brock Besser, back-to-back games with just egregious giveaways, and yet they were able to overcome that and pick a guy like Brock Besser up and not allow him to have to wear the goat horns. But dreadful passes the Islanders game and the Leafs game as well. But they're scoring a bunch of goals right now, and they're outscoring their issues. They gave up 3 to the Isles, but they got 4 that night. Give up 4 to the Leafs, and they score 6. And in both of those final 2 games of the road trip, Donnie, they trailed. And this is not a characteristic of this Canucks team. Earlier in the season, we said when things are going well, they're all in. When things look like they're going to be difficult for them, as they were against the Islanders at home, against Anaheim, the Jersey game, they really haven't had that ability to wrestle back control of games in the moment. And so they did it against the Islanders, and then they did it against the Leafs. Like that second period was starting to go Toronto's way, and Austin Matthews was rolling, and you just thought at the end of a trip, maybe they don't have the legs left, and yet they outscore the Leafs 3-0 in the third period and win 6-4. So I like the fact that this team has shown resilience from game to game. They bounced back from the Jersey loss, but within games, I think that's a characteristic that can serve them well here as they stay in this sort of life or death chase for the playoffs.
Well, Jeff, that's the poll question. You think they can make the playoffs? Now, this 7-game homestand is crucial in 2 areas, obviously to make the playoffs. Also in decisions by management. Are they going to be close on the 21st? Are they going to hang on to a couple of players because they're close to the playoffs? Your thoughts on how they can do on this homestand? What are the potential wins you're looking at here?
I sort of set my own internal bar at 5-1-1. So I give them 1 outright loss. They can probably afford 1 other loss if they get a point somewhere along the line. It's incredible, guys, this chase. And we know the numbers under Bruce Boudreau, 20 wins in 32 games. When they started this 4-game road trip, this last road trip that they were on, they started that game against the Rangers. They were 5 points out of the second wild card. It was Edmonton at that point. They go 3-1 on the road trip. Now, they haven't played for a couple of nights. Guess what? They're still 5 points out of the second wild card. That's how difficult it is to make up ground. It's just that now they're chasing Dallas instead of Edmonton, and so there's so many teams there, And on a nightly basis, one team's rising up, another team's dropping down. There's a bunch of moving targets here, but they go 3-1. They hold up their end of the bargain. They pick up 6 to 8 points, and they're still the same amount of distance back of that second wild card chase. So, they just have to keep their nose down, nose to the grindstone, and not worry too much about the out-of-town scoreboard. And it's just trying to find results. And it has to start here against the Montreal team that obviously has found that same sort of new coach bump under Marty St. Louis that the Canucks got under Bruce Boudreau, 7-1 in their last 8 games. The crazy thing is, they're still the Montreal Canadiens. They are the worst defensive team in the National Hockey League. They're one of the lowest scoring teams in the National Hockey League. Their special teams aren't very good. Now, under Marty St. Louis, those numbers have all increased, but it's still the same players that got them in this hole that they're in. Like Nick Suzuki's an incredible player. He's got 40 points. They trade Tyler Toffoli away. Their second leading scorer is Arturi Lehkonen with 25 points. So I'm not going to say it's easy because there are no easy games in the National Hockey League, but the Vancouver Canucks, they have to find a way to set the tone for this homestand. And so I think there's added importance to trying to get this one tonight and then hopefully sort of build as they go here on these 7 games in a row at home.
Jeff, JT Miller, 9-game point streak, 17 points. Man, this guy he's just been unbelievable, night in, night out. I can't remember last time a forward has been doing this for the Canucks. It's been a while, but what an incredible run he has been on.
Yeah, and you can see in Toronto, they wanted to get a good start to obviously feed off the win over the Islanders. Who opens the scoring? Oh, yeah, it's JT Miller. Of course it's JT Miller because he is sort of the fire starter for this group, and you can see how emotional he was with that goal. He talked about it afterwards. Saturday night in Toronto, end of the road trip, team needing a win, and he wanted to be the guy that set the tone, and he's just done that all season long, but he seems to be getting better as they go here. 3rd point streak of 8 games or more this season, the only guy in the league that has that kind of statistic attached to his name. So he's been consistent, and when he gets on a run, look out. The sky seems to be the limit for JT Miller. So he's played remarkably well. I like that line with Besser, and Tanner Pearson is a guy that we don't talk a lot about, but boy, he's feeling it right now. He's scored in 5 of the last 7 games. I thought he was really good in Toronto. He ends up getting the go-ahead goal, or the tying goal, I guess it was, the 4-4 early in the 3rd period. So I like that line of Miller, Besser, and Pearson. They played together at other times this season and have had some success. And it's funny, guys, because Bruce Boudreau had spent much of this season, and Travis Green did as well, trying to find some balance and just trying to cover holes in this lineup. And right now, it looks like Bruce Boudreau has hit on something with Miller, Pearson, and Besser. And then he's got Paterson, Garland, and Höglander. And that leaves Horvat playing with Paterson. And even Alex Jason came alive and scored the game winner the other night and was tied for the team lead in shots on goal on the road trip with a dozen. And then you've got that 4th line that Bruce Boudreau loves so much. So it kind of feels like this is the optimal deployment of the forward group that he's got, and I think the results show that there's something there that's working for the Vancouver Canucks. They've won 5 of their last 6, and we'll see if they can push that with another win here tonight against Montreal.
And quickly, Jeff, we hear, and Rick confirmed this during his tidbit segment in our first segment, Derek Clancy checking out the Pittsburgh Penguins, but 20 wins under Bruce Boudreau in a playoff chase. Would it surprise you if the Canucks stood pat before the trade deadline?
I still think that Jim Rutherford knows why he was brought in, and that's because this team was a disaster at the 25-game mark, and change has to come. It's been a great ride under Bruce Boudreau, but I still think if you start to assess this group, and particularly the defense core, and we know that a young right side guy is at the top of their wish list, I still think that this management group knows that change is needed. It's not about sneaking into the playoffs, Don. It's about building a championship contender, and Jim Rutherford is on the record. So I am still expecting some activity on the trade front before the trade deadline from the Vancouver Canucks. But at the same time, with Tyler Mott really the only pressing issue as a pending UFA, if they decide to push this to the offseason and see where this group can take them, I guess I won't be shocked. But as I sit here today, I am still expecting the Canucks will be active ahead of the deadline.
Thanks, Jeff. And just a reminder that Austin Matthews got 2 goals against the Canucks on Saturday. Yeah. Unbelievable. Of course, he got 3 last night. The Kraken. Hey, Jeff, thanks for this. We'll talk to you next week. All the best.
All right, guys. Thank you.